Hello and welcome back to the 3rd of March's rendition of Hammer's Headlines in association, of course, with the guys over at KUMB. Go and check out the forum, go and check out their website. Great guys, and thank you very much for supporting our channel as well. And of course, what we do, we bring to you the latest news and headlines, some short, sharp, straight to the point headlines from West Ham from today, the 3rd of March. If you don't know who I am, I'm Anton, and we run the West Ham Network. If you're interested, go across and subscribe to the channel. It does help us out massively. But let me get started with the first story of today, and that is none other than David Moyes, who was visibly angry with his players after the 3-1 FA Cup defeat and exit to the hands of Southampton last night. We all watched the game and we were all massively disappointed, and we were beat by a much-changed Southampton side to kiss goodbye to the FA Cup for another year. Absolutely gutting. The Southampton manager made 9 changes, leaving out a lot of key players, but the Saints still managed to beat a near full-strength West Ham side. David Moyes even particularly named one player, and the one player he named was Craig Dawson, as one player he was furious with costing West Ham the defeat to Southampton. Now, it's not that he's directly digging out him personally and individually, but he did use him because he knows that he can criticise him, and he's got the history of playing football. He's the veteran of the side, and he can handle the criticism. He criticised his attacking players for their poor finishing, their poor decision-making. But like I said, he also singled out Dawson. Many fans have said he's been one of our strongest and most consistent players, especially in the defence for West Ham. So it could be harsh, but we know he can definitely handle that situation. So at 1-1 in the game, in the second half, VAR decided that Braja, who came on as a substitute for Southampton, had been fouled by Craig Dawson in the box, and James Ward-Prowse, who we all know can put the ball in the back of the net, made no mistake from the penalty spot. We all thought it was a decision that really shouldn't have happened if you take into consideration that we believe Dawson was fouled on the way into the 18-yard box, and it looked like a blatant foul on Dawson, but VAR decided to ignore that. An angry West Ham boss did not care about that, though. He insisted and instead pointed out that the entire incident would have been avoided had Dawson defended the situation properly in the first place. He said to the West Ham website, "I've not seen it again, but Dawson should never let Broja get anywhere near a chance to get in at goal." And that's where it starts from. You know, you make your mistake and you're in the wrong position, you can get caught out. Moyes clearly expects his veteran defender to lead by example, and he'll now know that the 32-year-old is big enough and tough enough and ugly enough to take criticism on board without letting it affect his performances. There's definitely plenty of others of players that we could point the finger at for the defeat, but definitely we know that Dawson's incident in the game definitely did have a negative impact on our result. So let's move on to the next story. And that is, of course, regarding the news that Vlasic could be actually staying at West Ham for a lot less than what we actually paid. Now, that is, we could be prevented from paying CSKA Moscow the next installment of our transfer fee for Vlasic as a result of the UK government imposing sanctions against Russia over the invasion of Ukraine. So CSKA sold Vlasic to West Ham for anything between 25 to 30 million pounds, depending on what you read and where you get your information from and how the deal is built up last summer. And the next installment of the fee is due in August. However, West Ham are unsure whether we'll be allowed to make the next payment because sanctions could stop English clubs from dealing with Russian sides. So transfer fees routinely spread out over several years rather than paid in one lump sum. That's the kind of modern way of how they do transfer deals. But the economic action taken against Russia will have an effect on football, and it is unclear how a CSKA would react in the event of non-payment. And in normal circumstances, under those circumstances, a club who did not receive a scheduled payment would report the issue to FIFA. The Football Association regards with non-payment of transfer fees as primarily for FIFA, expects clubs to comply with government-imposed sanctions. FIFA have been approached for comment and no one has heard back yet. He is a 24-year-old Croatian midfielder. He scored once since joining David Moyes' side. We've also signed Alex Kroll on loan from Spartak Moscow, but he's not had a lot of more time. But I suppose time was going to tell on this matter, and let's see how that transpires. Let's move on to the next story, and this is, of course, of Ukrainian captain and West Ham player star Andrei Yarmolenko, who's reportedly going to be traveling, and rightly so, to Poland to collect his family after they escaped the war-torn Ukraine. That is according to the West Ham forward's ex-international teammate, manager, and legend of the game, Shevchenko, who was on Sky Sports talking about the circumstances. And we all know Yarmolenko was given compassionate leave by West Ham after the Russian invaded his homeland, and he has so far missed the Wolves game and the loss against Southampton yesterday evening. And the ex-Chelsea striker Shevchenko, who is now 45, told Sky Sports News that Yarmolenko's wife was over in the Ukraine with one of his children, but they did manage to cross the border into Poland. And he said in his interview, he looked really distressed. He said, football doesn't exist to me anymore, as he begged the British people to help out his country. Yarmolenko has even gone public a lot with the situation regards to Ukraine and Russian intervention. And he's also called on Russian footballers to show their balls and stand up to Vladimir Putin after they were booted out of the World Cup playoffs. And that brings an end to your Hammers headlines for today in association with KUMB. And like I said, if you're new around here, go and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. That will really support us out, and that'll let you know when our content goes live. Tomorrow, expect to see the press conference reaction from David Moyes on the lead up to the Liverpool game. And on the evening of tomorrow, you'll see the preview of our West Ham Liverpool game. Stay safe, take care, and come on, you Irons.